Yes, good day to Nigerians across the world. Top of the moment to you all. This is the Comrade Show. It is hard gist on the Comrade Show, and my name is Comrade Lamte Igmomusa Oriahi. A lot has been happening. Yeah, there's no doubt about it across the Nigerian political space. So much, but I think that one of the biggest things right now that is happening is the news that broke that President Goodluck Jonathan people have bought the APC presidential, form for him to become to run and contest and become the next president of Nigeria. And of course, since the news broke yesterday, there's been a lot going on here and there. And of course, we equally, have seen a statement released by his media aide debunking, that, talking about former President Goodluck Jonathan not being aware of any such move, and of course, calling it even disrespectful. However, report on the page of newspaper, including Vanguard and all of that, of course, let Nigerians know that former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan had actually gone to see the national chairman of APC, and of course, from the report, even this was even happening after debunking the idea that the former president is going to accept the nomination form bought for him. But Vanguard did say that former President Goodluck Jonathan had gone to see the APC national chairman, of course, to discuss pathway, is to becoming APC candidate for the 2023 elections. This is not all of these. We probably have not seen the end of this yet. All of these, as they are unfolding, they are not a very huge surprise to many Nigerians, particularly, looking at how events have been unfolding. So we're going to be looking at this. This is a very serious matter, and it is important, as Nigerians that we do what we have to do as far as this matter is concerned, and many other matters to save, the Nigerian sheep and all of that. So please, if you are joining, help share this broadcast. So let's begin to try to, analyze all of this. And I've titled this particular broadcast "Good Luck, E. Jonathan." That's a Billy Jonathan. The reason, why Nigerians must say no. Uh, this is important, particularly Nigerians in the southern, divide, the nation. We need to we need to try to break all of these down and put them in proper perspective. Nigeria today, like I've always stressed, is a nation standing on a very, precipice, as it were. It's a nation on the edge. Beyond 2023, nobody knows what's going to happen, but certain things are looking likely, and that is why we are very, busy with what we are doing, what we do, because for some of us, we love this country. We truly love this country, and all we wish for is for this country to get it right. Unfortunately, the trajectory, has always been, to the wrong direction. And of course, 2023 presidential elections, is going to define a lot for this country. It's going to define whether this country will embrace the pathway of peace, or whether this country will give birth to several Nnamdi Kanus, several Sunday Igbohos, even from, the elite class and all of that, because the level of injustice in the country is just so high. Unfortunately, the northerners, the northern, strategists, the strategists in the north, they are miles ahead of the politicians in the south, and so all that is playing out, okay, the Satans just they just they are just the Satan politicians are just like people groping in the dark. While meanwhile the Northerners are very strategic. The result they want to get in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they put it in motion today, and that is why the disparity between the North and the South divide is there. It's so the political disparity is the margin is so wide. Okay, and this margin that is wide is actually on paper. It is not on what it's not what we see. The reality doesn't speak for it. But the northern political leaders they keep that margin very wide. For many of us, it's just a game. It's just a game that they are playing with everybody. And this game, because of the level of disparity and the way things are as we are today in this country, this country is on the edge. You understand? It's either done correctly, to make this country better, or it is done the way they want to do it, and of course, it will mark everybody. But let's concentrate on Goodluck Jonathan. And I'm going to start from when President Muhammadu Buhari took over. It made huge impression on Mr. President and, of course, some of his cronies that President Goodluck Jonathan handed over power to President Muhammadu Buhari. And ever since the President Muhammadu Buhari, have been very good friends with Billy Jonathan. Every now and again, Billy Jonathan is going to the Aso Rock to go and see Mr. President. They're having private meetings and all of that. And not too long ago, the news started featuring in that Billy Jonathan is being wooed to become the president. I mean, to run on the platform of the APC and all of that. And so everybody has been calculating, no, you can't do that, it can't be that, it can't be this, it can't be that, and all of that. And just yesterday, boom, 100 million naira was paid by groups, as they always do, to pick a form, expression of interest form and nomination forms for former President Bele Goodluck Jonathan under APC. And of course, Nigerians have been reacting. Some again, some for, quite a huge number of people against, and all of that. And of course, a statement was released, like I said earlier, by his media aide to say that he's not aware. And that, brings to, makes us ask the first question. That some people will just gather and buy a form for 100 million naira in a country where lecturers, are on strike, in a country where, things are so difficult. As a matter of fact, I hear that, ASU is about extending their warning strike to another 3 months because of what they have seen with APC nomination exercise, raking in multi-billions, with people just paying 100 million with reckless abandon in a country where the suffering is so much. And well, that's another story for another day. So, and the ability could come to tell Nigerians is that they are not aware. Many Nigerians take that with a pinch of salt. But on the heels of that, like I said, the papers have carried it. Even international news media have carried it out. Former President Goodluck, Billy Jonathan, is about to contest, seek election to become president of Nigeria. Now, let me establish some things here. Former President Goodluck, Billy Jonathan, has the right, there is no doubt about it, to run for the office of president. He has a right to do so. There's no doubt about it. And for those people who, have written me, some have called me to say, oh, I have an aspirant I'm projecting, I should speak for the aspirant and leave the others alone. I want to quickly put this in perspective as well. This is Nigeria, our country, my country, a country where I believe very strong that we all have a stake in, all of us. Anybody who picks a form to say he wants to run for the president of Nigeria, by that singular act, or anybody who is attempting, to preside over the affairs of governance as far as the next concerned, becomes my business. Becomes my business. Because whatever the person is going to be doing is not going to be impacting just his bedroom alone. It's going to be impacting me, my family, my friends, all of us. And to that extent, it is my business. And so for those who are like, oh, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, just to speak for your aspirants or your candidates and blah, 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 share it. We will continue to talk about this because at the end of the day, when we make this mistake, okay, we will all suffer it. Now the question is, why are the Northerners, Okay, I will say that right now. Why are some people, within the political circle of President Muhammadu Buhari keen on having Goodluck Jonathan become president of Nigeria? That's what we're going to be looking at. Whether that is what favors us as Nigerians or the South, or it's an agenda that favors the North. Because the whole idea of the conception of this country had always been built around the fact that the Northerners, the Hausa, the Hausa said those ones are even okay. The Fulanis must always hold on to power as far as Nigeria is concerned. And we already see all of this is at play and all of that. The genuineness of these people trying to make sure that President Moram, I mean, former President Ebele Jonathan become president is a matter we want to look at. This is why we must decide whether it is it will be a good decision for Billy Jonathan, to throw himself into this ring and all of that. Now, like I said earlier, we've seen the romance, okay, but I want to establish some immorality here. President Ebele Jonathan, former President Ebele Jonathan, was one man who was a lecturer, from a very humble beginning, and fate smiled on him. He became a deputy governor, and of God, fate pushed him a bit. He became the governor of his own state of Bayelsa. And again, the same fate came again. He became the vice president of Nigeria, and he became the president of Nigeria. All of these things happened under PDP, the People's Democratic Party, a party, he was part of, a party that made his projections, a party that stood by him, and all of that. Now, people are asking questions. So even if Ebele Jonathan wants to become president, you know, must it be with this kind of disregard for the structure that actually brought him? Well, not say the quarrel. No official declaration to say they can't. That if it is true, okay, we must put that there. That is on one part. Now, but the biggest part of it is this, or the another big part of it is this. Today, former President Goodluck Jonathan has become a superstar in the Nigerian political space as an elder statesman. He's been since the last 7.5 years or so, or thereabouts, since Buhari took over and all of that. And the status he's been enjoying has been one that is very enviable, one that is very, commands a lot of respect, one that has placed him, very high and above so many as far as Africa is concerned, and all of that. Now, I don't know. Maybe Goodluck Jonathan is forgetting how we got here. And I want to establish, without fear of intimidation, that it is the failure of the administration of Goodluck Jonathan for 6 years at the helm of affairs, okay, that made Nigerians troop to the tent of, an angel that became unknown to us. That is President Muhammadu Buhari. It was, what they say, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. The failure of Jonathan's administration made Buhari become an angel that we didn't know. And people trooped to support Buhari and all of that. Now, the dismal failure of Buhari now paved way for Goodluck Jonathan to now enjoy this status that is currently enjoying. We must not forget that. We must not forget that. Goodluck Jonathan's administration as president of Nigeria, okay, laid a foundation for many, many things that this country has not been able to rescue herself from. One of them is this insecurity. Even though, many of us we strongly believe that Goodluck Jonathan has no hand in bringing, terrorists to Nigeria. The terrorists that came to Nigeria, that I mean, there is a declassified document right now that is out there flying around, alleging that from the office of the president of Nigeria currently, Buhari, and some other political leaders, they are the ones who actually brought some of these foreigners, to Nigeria to disturb the peace of Nigeria so that they can discredit Goodluck Jonathan, as alleged by the document. We cannot independently verify some of those claims and all of that. But from Goodluck Jonathan's time, this issue of 200 kidnapped girls that led to bring back our girls and all of that started. Insecurity started and all of that. It now looked even more like Goodluck Jonathan was not capable of, securing the territorial integrity of the country, and of course securing lives and property in the country. And so people began to troop. Under President Goodluck Jonathan, there was massive corruption, we cannot forget. With the Minister of Aviation, Minister of everybody was blatantly corrupt under the administration, and they were flamboyant with the corruption, and hardship was beginning to take its root and all of that. And so somehow Nigerians were groaning. Though what I'm talking about right now is almost 100 times worse than it was in his time. There's no doubt about it. But his administration, what's it called? Improved on the frontiers of corruption. Improved on the level of insecurity we have in this country. Of course, his administration was able to provide some of those things that Nigerians needed. We're talking about power, so that people in the private sector can. Well, Nigeria was unable to run, correctly the way Nigerians would expect it. That was what paved way. Otherwise, this Buhari we are talking about right now had contested to be president of this country severally, more than probably 4 or 5 times if my records are straight, and he did not win because at each time he did run for that position, Nigerians are reminded of who this man is. A man, in the late 80s or so, or early 90s, that was described aptly by somebody like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who described Buhari as a religious bigot, a man that cannot be allowed to step, into the realms of power and all of that. But at the end of the day, having run against presidents, severally and all of that, and when they were forming their coalition, BAT, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his own political, circles felt that the man who can stand, and stand toe to toe with the city president, Goodluck Jonathan at the time, was Buhari, and of course they rooted. All the what's it called, the Dino Melai, all of them, they were all in the streets. What's it called? Do a lot of things. There was nothing that was not done against this man to make sure they remove him. And of course, Nigerians keyed into all of that and brought this unknown angel. And today, the indices, okay, the bad report from this administration is now even 100 times more, when Goodluck Jonathan was there. But it's suffice to state that it is the failure, the dismal failure of the present government that is making Goodluck Jonathan look like a saint. We must not forget that. It is not like we had a Goodluck Jonathan whose administration was splendid, was perfect, was beautiful, was good enough for Nigerians. Nigerians were happy, they were wallowing in joy, everybody was cozy, It was not like that. So let's not forget that past. Now we now have to go into why, the Northerners right now. I have very strong belief that Buhari and some of his colleagues very close to him, they want Jonathan to take over from Buhari. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is why we must not fall prey to these people. It's very important. I'm going to tell you why. Now, why do they want him? But before I go into why, I'll tell you that there is somebody within the Nigerian political space. If this person speaks, I listen, I take this person seriously because this man has shown to me that oftentimes he speaks the mind of President Muhammadu Buhari. As a matter of fact, a lot of what he says appear to be like he's speaking, he's the mouthpiece of the president unofficially in a way. And the man said that the only person that will make him share his own ambition, this was on May 3rd, share his own ambition of running for president is if President Goodluck, Ebele Jonathan, accepts to run for president. And that is Musa El-Rufai. El-Rufai said this publicly that it is only if Goodluck Jonathan is willing to run. That is the only reason why he will share his own ambition. That's on one side. Over and over again, we've seen groups, go to visit Goodluck Jonathan to appeal to him privately and publicly to run for the office of president. Now, many of us may be carried away believing that this is for the interest of Nigeria, the good interest of Nigeria, but no, it's not. It's for the interest of the northern hegemony. It's for the interest of the Fulani Caliphate. It's for the interest of those that want to ensure that Nigeria, remains where it is. It's for their own interest. And they have cronies everywhere. There are people they have strategically, placed everywhere to speak what they are doing, okay, to intimidate us to submission, and all of that. Now, the agitation to say presidency, the next president must come from South is very hard. And I'm happy with that. And they are getting the message, and all of that. And so they themselves, while they are speaking up to say that the next president cannot be a Southerner, must be a Northerner, okay, they are looking for a way, okay, to appease the South a bit, give this semblance of, okay, we don't grant on our wish. Let's not forget, if Goodluck Jonathan becomes president, he only has one term of 4 years to run to be president. One term of 4 years. And this is what they want to capitalize on. Having established very good relationship with the current president, and it is the permutation is that if this man becomes president, before long, he's going to live there. And as a matter of fact, before he becomes president, I just imagine, how much negotiation is going to go into it, what is going to sign, he's going to sign to agree to, and all of that, that will be at the expense of all of us, but for the interest of them, the northern political class and all of that. But before I move further to begin to break some of these things down, bit by bit, let us take a listen. We must understand the mood of the nation right now. This country, never before in the history of this country, not even in the time of the Civil War, has this country been this divided. This country is so divided right now, and that many of us feel very strongly that 2023, okay, is very symbolic. The symbolism of 2023 is such that it makes or mar everything about this country. People are warming up, whether in the south, in the north, people are warming up and all of that, But let's take a listen to some of these people that many of us believe they speak the mind of some of these, northern politicians. Now we are going to hear from one Abdullahi, Northern Consensus Movement. Let's listen to what he had to say concerning 2023, and of course, the stand by many in the South.
Will present a candidate that will balance our 4 years before we go into rotation. But we are not asking for, like you call it, third time. No, we are not asking for third time. Nobody asks for third time. We will never ask for third time. We are democratic. We believe in democracy, and we are practicing democracy. That was why we said politics is a game of number, and we know we have the numbers. We are 120 million population from the north. Then the Fulanis have 40 million in population, and if you put that together, that will give you 160 million. And you can, out of the approximately 210 million as in being envisaged, the population of Nigeria. When you take 160 million out of 210 million, what is the balance? About 70 million. I cannot see how 160 million, I can't see how 70 million will beat 160 million.
Now, earlier I said that this political gameplay, I don't know what our Southern forefathers did, political forefathers, what they did, but in their own time, the North, they were setting up structures to guarantee that in the next, forever and ever, power will remain with the northern part of Nigeria. This might just mention some figures for us now, and you just imagine. I don't know whether any of you, anybody watching right now, has actually traveled to the northern part of Nigeria and all of that. The figures we have on paper, okay, it is we don't actually see it, to be honest, on the ground. You understand what I'm saying now? They make a case to say that the north is more populated than the south. Okay, when we have census, okay, we have reported cases where they inflate numbers. When it is time for people to get their PVCs, we have reported cases where they just connive to ensure that they inflate the numbers to make sure that the north is always having that edge over the south. The other day, the other one came out. Looking at this nation, the imbalance and the injustice is just so much. The country that is producing the wealth of this country, this nation, the Niger Delta, is in shambles. And yet, a northerner came out on a certain day to tell the world that the oil of the Niger Delta belongs to the north. Because the north is more populated, is more populated than the south. And so therefore, they own the wealth of the country, not the south. It's as annoying as it is. You would expect that the southern leaders will get their acts together, unite together, and begin to, see this injustice and stand toe to toe with this northern, northerners. Now, this is a northerner speaking. He's not in government, but I can tell you that he has the support of the authorities from the north, the political authorities from the north. How many such structures? They call these ones northern. What do they call them? He's the leader of the northern, what's it called, consensus movement. You understand what I'm saying now? Now, how many of such structures do we have funded and supported by the political structures of the South to continue to defend the interests of the South? Because right now, there is no Nigeria. This is a conglomeration of nations. That's what we have. And each nation is defending her own tribe. There is no patriotism. There is no national consciousness to say that we are Nigerians. It's a tribal arrangement. Nigeria is a country made up of different nations. Unfortunately, we have refused to respect even that. And so they want to use a game of numbers, which they have concocted by themselves. Impress it on everybody. If just look at the fray right now. You can count the number of northerners that have come out to say they are contesting 2023 presidential elections. And you can see a deliberate move by them to come together. I saw them with that Saraki Tambua, what's it called, Bala Mohammed, and one other person like that. They say they want to get a consensus. They are discussing. Even while that consensus arrangement appears to fail, Bala Mohammed just confirmed the other day that they are still meeting to see how they can. Before you know what is happening, okay, a powerful, unknown group of elders in the north will call all of them together. They will resolve. Before you know what is happening, they will present that one candidate. And as we speak right now, with my ears on the ground and with the feelers I'm getting, They are already reaching out arrangements to queue behind Atiku Abubakar. You come to the south. Why some of us right now are looking at, the tripod, the Nigerian tripod of Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, to say, let us have an Igbo president. And some of us are making a case, very strong case for someone like Peter Obi. When you expect us to have that certain unknown elders forum that can bring everybody in the south together to say, man, look, this is what we should do to chase one front. We don't have it. Oh, Unamani has gone to collect form. Oh, Amechi has gone to collect form. Oh, Wiki has gone to collect form. Oh, that was going to. By the time you put all of them together, I probably will be the next person to go and get my form. All of us will be contesting. And like this young man said, I would not blame this young man, Abdullah, that was, talking just now. Because this nation is rigged and weak like this. For people to continue to chase their own interests far above the national interest. The man started by saying that they have 4 years left to complete the northern time because President Yar'Adua died in office and Goodluck Jonathan took over as acting president and then president before he now contested and lost after the first term. So they are saying that the balanced term of Yar'Adua is 4 years. And so the argument is that they must have a northerner to complete that 4 years before power can rotate. I don't know whether we are following this matter, but I'm coming because this is not just the only. Let's take a listen further. I probably will just pull it back a bit.
But we are not asking for, like you call it, third time. No, we are not asking for third time. Nobody asks for third time. We will never ask for third time. We are democratic. We believe in democracy, and we are practicing democracy. That was why we said politics is a game of number, and we know we have the numbers. We are 120 million population from the north. Then the Fulanis have 40 million in population, and if you put that together, that will give you 160 million. And you can, out of the approximately 210 million as in being envisaged, the population of Nigeria, when you take 160 million out of 210 million, what is the balance? About 70 million. I cannot see how 160 million, I can't see how 70 million will beat 160 million. So we are ready for it. We believe in democracy. We are democratic in nature. We know politics is a game of number. We know politics, leadership is by ballot box. Leadership is by PVC. Leadership is by election. And that was why we are calling our people to come out en masse and get their PVCs. The 120 million northerners should get their PVC. The 40 million Fulanis should get their PVC. Put together 160 million. We will elect another president by 29th of May. By February next 2023, we should be going into election to elect a fresh northern president that will balance the remaining 4 years that North has.
The Northern Consensus Movement has called on all 120 million northerners.
Well, you can see the case right now. Now, oh man, the South is still sleeping, but there is another. Some of these things we may think that they are in isolation. They are not in isolation. They are all working together. They have not only they have disciples everywhere that makes this case for them. Of course, they know that the agenda to say, the South have a case to say, let the next president come from the South and all of that. And so they want to ensure that they water down that particular arrangement. You understand? Now the issue of Goodluck Jonathan. Okay, I must put this very clear in perspective. From our own calculation, from the way we have looked at it, Goodluck Jonathan is a plan B in the circle. In case it is too risky for them to bring out a northern, a candidate, a northerner to become president of Nigeria, then they want to make bring Goodluck Jonathan, who cannot do more than 4 years, so that immediately power will return back to the north for a president a northern president that will run for 8 years before we start talking again. And when we're making these calculations, if this goes according to the way they are looking at it, Goodluck Jonathan will be there 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27. By 27, they will take over to 35. Many of us, or many of you watching today, may not even see the story when it gets to that time. And what they are doing, that they are even doing better, is that generation after generation, the Northerners are able, they know exactly where we are politically. They are able to baptize a new generation into the fold. That as the older ones are dying and living, the new generation continue from where the older ones stopped. In the South, we have no structures that is properly grooming the younger generation to follow a pattern of history to stand and defend the South. A seed was sown. A seed was sown by the Northerners. That seed was sown, and where was made public by the Southern of Sokoto at the time, who said that an Igbo man. This was shortly after I think it was shortly after the second military coup in Nigeria, the coup that removed Major Ironsi, when what's his name, Gowon became the head of state of Nigeria. No, was it? No, it wasn't that. I think no. I think that was before the first military coup. I'm trying to get my history right now. January 15, 1966. And the man said that an Igbo man cannot be allowed to become president of Nigeria. An Igbo man cannot be allowed to become president of Nigeria. That seed has grown into a tree. Today, many of these people you see, they are still holding that very firmly. But the reason why that matter appears to be holding sway is because we have many of our brothers in the West, particularly many of them, I'm not talking of all of them, but many of the political leaders in the West, the Yorubas, they support the Northerners to fan this flame of discord because they profit from it. They profit from it because very likely when you have an Hausa Fulani president, you are likely going to have a Yoruba vice president. So they are comfortable with that position. And so they can do anything to ensure that that arrangement. And for some of us who have grown, with the Nigerian political development has been chewed into us. We've grown to see this. We saw the Civil War, the impact of it, and what has continued after the Civil War. We are willing to say that jinx should be broken. And so when I make a case for Peter Obi, I'm not just making a case for Peter Obi because I think Peter Obi is a strategic human being, who is just happen to just be an Igbo. Very likely, if he was a Yoruba person, I probably would be speaking as I'm speaking right now. But we are so blessed that this upright leader is an Igbo man that will help create this balance. I'll speak to that a little, but let's take a listen to what another, Northern leader said to echo what Abdullahi just said. This one, they call them Northern Elders Forum. This one is not coming from anybody. Buhari is part of this forum, but just take a listen to what. And no, but just take a listen first. For the first video I played just now, I want to give credit to GTV. Of course, that came from there. But this one, a credit to Channels Television, an excerpt from Channels Television. Let's take a listen.
We will lead Nigeria the way we have led Nigeria before. Whether we are president or vice president or whatever, we will lead Nigeria. Not because we are better than anybody.
I want us to take a note of something here. But it was what I was trying to echo just now. He said, we will lead Nigeria the way we have done it before. Confidently. This man belongs to a generation, okay, that history was passed to say, this country is our birthright. Why different states, it looks like a joke, but this is what it is. Different states were, trying to capture some things that represent them. You hear those say, we are the heartbeat of the nation. Another state will say we are center of excellence, like Lagos. We are this, we are this, we are this. A northern state said we are born to rule. Born to rule. It captures this idea because they are baptized into it. As this generation is living, they have given birth to the next generation and they have baptized them into this idea that it is their birthright to continue to govern this country. Take a listen for that anyway.
Anybody else? But because if you are doing a democratic game, the votes say vote who you want. We have the majority of the votes. Why do we need to accept a second-class position when we can fight for and get a first-class position? Why? Why does anybody need to threaten us and cajole us and intimidate us? If you don't bring the presidency here, you will see. Okay, let's see. We are willing to see. But when we get that power,
now look at what he has echoed here. He said, because we have the numbers. If you watch the previous video I played when Abdullahi was talking, he said we have the numbers. He even went on to break down the numbers. So you see that these people, they are not existing in isolation. There is a connection. And sometimes I just imagine that before they even come out to release some of these messages, they have had the blessings of the kingmakers, people we don't know. They are what's it called, paramount chiefs and all that are involved. What I'm saying right now, there are reasons why we have to make deliberate moves to either change the status quo or decide whether it is still justifiable for us to have a Nigeria beyond 2023. And while we are making that argument, I strongly am of the opinion that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan should not be used as a bait against the Southern interest. Because right now this matter is a matter of to your tent, O Israel. I am a very strong advocate of Nigeria, but a Nigeria that is governed by justice, a Nigeria where everybody is conscious of everybody's interest. If we cannot have a Nigeria that recognizes the interest of all the component parts of the country, particularly looking at the way we are born as a nation, then there's probably a proper argument to say we have no reasons to be together. And that's what I said. And I am not missing words in this at all. That by 2023, if what is expected, what is right, what is justifiable is not done, I mean, Nnamdi Kanu have been incarcerated. There are many willing to step into the shoes of Nnamdi Kanu. They have tried to silence Sunday Igboho. The many voices of Sunday Igboho that will rise will be too much. And some of us are not afraid. The Benin man says, my fathers before me endured this injustice. My ancestors endured this injustice. We will not endure and pass it to generations after us. While this country is reeling seriously from the what's it called the wickedness of insecurity. We are unable to fight insecurity in this country. We have a president who was donating $1 billion to Afghanistan to fight insecurity. And meanwhile, our troops are unable to have the right equipment to confront terrorists within ourselves. We are not fighting a war with another nation within our own system, like homegrown terrorists, if you may. We are unable to tackle them. He gave Afghanistan $1 billion in this country that we did. There was no outcry. Freely, that $1 billion did not pass through the National Assembly. The president just stood and made a proclamation to say, I'm giving $1 billion to Afghanistan. We didn't thank Mr. President for giving $1 billion to Afghanistan. I have many things I'm weeping about in this country. A president who doesn't care. And these Northerners are not coming to talk about this president who doesn't care. They are not coming to address Nigerians to say we need a credible person to lead this country. That's where this person comes from. But what they are saying is that the power must remain in the north. Take a listen to this man I was talking.
In the name of God, be humble, because power comes from God. If they tell you the North must play second fiddle, say no. But in what game? Please, sir, what are the rules of this game? If the rules of the game say you should vote for the candidate of your choice, vote for the candidate of your choice. If they don't like the fact that it may be a Northerner who will emerge as president, too bad. If we want to support a Southerner, we will support a Southerner because that will be in our own interest rather than in somebody's interest. And we can decide for ourselves. We don't need anybody to tell us what to do.
So he just summed it up by saying that if they want to support any Southerner, they want to support a Southerner. Gosh, a Southerner, not for the interest of Nigeria, but for their own interest. Now you can see why some of them are rooting for Ebele Jonathan. Because Ebele Jonathan will sign all the required agreements to work for their interests. So if they must support any Southerner, it has to be a Southerner that will work not for the interest of Nigeria, but for their interest. What is their interest? To continue to be the ones who control all the oil wells in Nigeria. To continue to be the ones who determine who becomes who and what in Nigeria. To ensure that the presidential powers remain firmly in their hands. I am sure that, look, let's not miss words. Okay? If my intelligence, okay, the intelligence I'm gathering is right, President Ebele Jonathan will be declaring in a matter of days that he's running for president. So let's not just one day I say, oh, people going to go and buy form, this blah 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 blah. Ebele Jonathan is not aware. It's a disrespect. Forget about all those nonsense. Nobody goes to buy a form for 100 million naira for somebody, and the person is not aware. Nobody does that. 100 million naira. No, nobody does that. Nobody does that. Are you a saint? You be God? Why must you look at all of them? Oh, groups bought a form. Groups bought a form. Groups bought a form. Groups have bought forms that you have raised several billions under APC alone. Several billions. With all of them coughing out 100 million. Yet in this country, our educational infrastructure right now is in peril. It's in danger. The health infrastructure, they are not there. They are non-existent. Our young people, they are at home. They are not schooling right now. But the other day, I saw a picture of Malam El-Rufai, the son was graduating in one university in America. The same thing with all of them. They are sick. You don't even get to hear anymore. They travel abroad to go and receive medical treatment. So this matter is about us, Nigerians. It's about us. Unfortunately, they have a way, they cook a few political elites, in their circles, and then they subject the vast majority of the Northerners through the religious passages and tell them what to do. You see a Northerner, a multi-billionaire, come around. He's the one feeding a whole village. But they make sure that they keep this whole village under perpetual poverty. So at any time they come and say, this is what we want you to do, that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. That is the way they have caged their people. They use them to oppress the entire state for their own selfish interest. Few of them. So even when we talk about the North, the way I'm talking about them right now, to be very honest, there are very good ordinary people in the North amongst the Hausas and the Fulanis who are not part of this arrangement. But the people who have kept this arrangement going, they are the ones who are privileged to be in the ruling class. And if you check them, they marry themselves. It is their children, their cousins, their brothers, their nephews, their nieces. It is not beyond that circle. While the vast majority, you find them as alamajiris. You find them as, people who are trying to earn some living. Like many of us in the South. So then they create a window of poverty and perpetual economic oppression. Then when it's time to use them as numbers, you see them in the mosque saying that, oh, in this election that is coming, this is who we are voting for. Everybody you see, look at the arrangement right now in Nigeria today. Let's look at the arrangement. Look at the cabinet of President Muhammadu Buhari. Look at all the Northerners in different positions. When everybody is asleep, they hold their meetings and control what they want to control. At the end of the day, in PDP right now, they have almost perfected the plans to give the ticket to Atiku Abubakar. That's what the intelligence I'm gathering. They have almost done that. Now, when that happens, okay, you will find out at the end of the day, they will do what they want to do. The entire APC structure, they will move their tent to Atiku Abubakar. So, Jonathan has too many reasons not to play himself into this trap because he will be embarrassed beyond imagination. Beyond imagination. He's not going to get the support of the South because he will be seen as a betrayer. Many of us expected that, with the status Jonathan is enjoying right now, he should be one of those trying to bring the entire South together to have an agenda that will protect the interest of the South. Because right now, where we speak about the Nigerian collective interest, we must look at our own regional interests. But for Jonathan to allow himself to be playing this kind of games, it's so unfortunate. To allow himself, somebody come out to say, no, the man never agreed. The man, forget about it, man. We are not kids. We know how this matter they be. This matter they have been cooking this matter for several months. They want to ensure that under APC, however it goes, it is in their own interest. Or if it's under PDP, however it goes, it is their own interest. That is what they are doing. There are those who are not, they don't belong to any political parties. They are neither APC nor PDP, but they are at the background working to ensure that whichever candidate come out from APC or PDP, they are candidates that will work for the interest of the North, not for the interest of Nigeria. We have seen it echoed by so many of their disciples that is sent out there. I came out, to do this broadcast. Please share this broadcast as much as possible. Goodluck Jonathan will see. I will send to him personally. If he cares to listen. If he doesn't, his people will listen. He needs to get a clear message. You understand what I'm saying? And they formed a board. It looked like they are trying to test the depth of the water. My brother Olaro Timi says a man cannot test the depth of the waters with both feet together. So you want to test how river deep bridge, you put your two legs, say maybe you test them. You first put one leg down. You will fall and be inside and drown if the river is deep. And this is the case that will happen to Goodluck Jonathan. You have a status right now that you don't merit. Unmerited statesmanship. I think you should enjoy it, my friend. And live on your pension and your businesses that you're already running for the rest of your life. And be a true statesman, a true leader for the Nigerian people, particularly for the Southerners. Look at some of the pastors in the South. They have all got to big farms. Look at the West. Everybody. At the end of the day, even the West, the hay will soon go to roost, so they know what they are doing. When the time comes, they go steal because those ones are even better organized than even the Easterners. Our Igbo brothers in this race, they will fight to the finish, even when they know where the truth is. They are not used to succumbing to anybody. And that's why I was having a chat with one young man the other day in the northeast of England, and I was expressing my resentment over this military, lovers that were killed, and all of that. And the young man was saying, yes, they do what they want. What are you talking about? And I've made this case very clear. Whether it is by way of combat or by way of intellectual, discussion or by way of whatever it is. Why is it that the Igbos they always make the battleground their own place, and their own people are always the victims? You are no gunmen. You are proudly killing your own fellow Igbo brother and sister in your own land. The battle is raging. It is not raging. You are not taking the battle to the enemy ground. You are fighting the battle in your own ground, and most of the victims are your own people. That's what you are doing in combat. And it's what you are doing in politics. Just look at the array of Igbos that are going to pick funds to want to become president of Nigeria. When you expect these people right now to sit down and say, man, having come from being in this country since creation, we have been through this and this and this and this and this. Let us sit down and reason together for once. But now it ought to be like it is only one Igbo person that is in the race for presidency, and everybody is speaking for this one Igbo person. Let's drop the idea of Peter Obi right now. Say all the Igbo political leaders, they came together to say, okay, under whatever auspices we have harmonized. For APC, we are bringing out this. For PDP, we are supporting this. This country did it previously. We had Olufalai come we had Obasanjo for PDP and Olufalai for what party was that again? SDP. No, PDP and what other party was it that there? Was it APC? It wasn't APC. APC wasn't born then. For the other major political party. We are two of them. So wherever I was going to go, it was going to go to the Yoruba land. And Obasanjo became the president of Nigeria. At that time, it was an arrangement to compensate for all the turmoil, the turbulence, all the everything that happened to June 12th, where what's his name? Abiola was the clear winner. And that pattern was good enough. After Obasanjo, we now had the Yaradua. And of course, Goodluck Jonathan, they finished the tenure. Now we have had Buhari. We have had Buhari. At least justice demands that right now there should be no jostling. For APC and for the PDP, we have an Igbo man for PDP, have an Igbo man for APC. Let Nigerians now make a choice. That would be justice. Irrespective of who I'm supporting. But even while some of us are making this case, what are the Igbo political leaders doing? They are more right now on the race. Picking forms under APC, picking forms under PDP. I've not heard of any attempt for anybody right now to say, man, let us come together and have one front. So that we see how organized our Igbo brothers are. The nation will take a reading from there. How many delegates will they fight for so one share? Now the Northerners are coming out to say they are in control. And yet they are literally in control. You go to certain states in the north, the place they will call a local government cannot even have up to 100 plots. They call it a local government. You come to the south, some local governments are almost as big as some states in the north. They use all of that to make up the numbers. I was looking at APC this thing the other day. The delegate count in the north, they were more than over 1,000 more than the south. They were over 1,300 more than the south. Because those guys, they have planned. They have an arrangement for the next 15, 20, 30 years of this Nigeria. We are just anywhere below face. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. Even if the agenda comes to say, oh, we want self-determination, we want Nigeria to just peacefully do this. What level of cooperation have we muzzled, particularly in the southeast? What level of cooperation? And I don't even know if there's anybody making that sacrifice for that. We cannot have this. Everybody running now, want to become president, No. And none of you will get it. No! If you don't put your act together. Finally, my people, Nigerians all over the world must say no to Goodluck Jonathan. Every argument for Goodluck Jonathan, made publicly or whatever, is an argument that will shortchange the South. An argument that will enlarge the level of injustice in the country. An argument that will further deny the Igbos their rights. And I'm able to say it is their right this time. I'm not saying Southeast, I'm saying the Igbos, it is their right this time to produce the next president of Nigeria. So if anybody, falls into this agenda of, what's his name, Goodluck Jonathan, is all an attempt. Even the what's it called, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, all of these guys are encroaching into the rights of the Igbos. They have no business being in this race. And some of them are the ones who connect with the Northerners to uphold the idea that an Igbo man cannot be allowed to rule this country. If it were the North alone, I'm not sure that arrangement would have persisted this long. They've always had the Yorubas and some very foolish Igbo political leaders joined them to do that. Now later as a nation we say that the Igbos are angry. Why would they not be angry? Why will there not be an Nnamdi Kanu? Why would there not be an IPOP? What have we done since 1970, let us leave the year before to make the Igbos feel included. You know, while at the quarrel with the Igbo, as a nation, we must equally look at ourselves and what we are doing to these people. And yet, we stand to say that they have no right to talk about self-determination when they have been so oppressed as a people. Why we are quarreling and crying over the killings taking place. They call themselves no soldiers and killing Igbos. Many of us cannot forget that even now as we speak, President Goodluck Jonathan declared war on the East. People like what's his name, the Imo State governor, the Supreme Court governor. Okay, they are the disciples of this very draconian leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. They brought soldiers from all over, and these people watch their own people slaughtered by soldiers, Nigerian soldiers. And we probably think that they have no right to be angry, to even be while I'm not justifying the way they are going about their anger, but don't we think as a nation that we are contributing to this? I consider myself my I don't know, maybe my second or my third country is Spain. I have lived in Spain for a very long time. You know, I'm a Spaniard, you know, Nigerian Spaniard. There's a Catalan region. Catalan asking to be independent. They have done a lot. But there's never been any time where the Spanish authorities declare war of any sort on Catalan. Every agitation by the Catalans, everything has been subject to negotiations. And I can tell you that the Catalans have used the agitations to get so many benefits from the Spanish authorities. They negotiate, they give them this infrastructure, they give them that infrastructure, they do this, they do that, they do that. Every time they tend to need something from the Spanish government, they come with their agitation. They have people in parliament. It's all political. And some of us believe that someday, sometime, there's going to be a federal republic of Catalan or a Catalan state. They are persistent. They are pushing. But nobody's killing anybody. Everything is being... I mean, look at Scotland. Some 10 years ago, they had a referendum to want to leave the United Kingdom. Nicola Sturgeon, the leader of the Scottish government, they are pushing for it again, but nobody's killing anybody. It's been subject of negotiation and negotiation and negotiation. They are bringing it to the Parliament of the United Kingdom. There is no agitation right now for self-governance or self-determination across the world of civilized people today that is being done with violence, with force. Everything is subject to negotiations. When this young man registered iPod, Nnamdi, and they were gaining ground and all of that, one would have expected that a responsible government would bring people to the table and negotiate and discuss why Nigeria must be together. Then you cannot begin to see demands of saying we don't have airports, we don't have good roads, we don't have this, and government will begin to deploy some attempts to ensure that some of those are available to keep the people have this to agitate for across this country. And all we must do as a responsible government, if we are one, is to look at the agitations, negotiate with the people, look at what is feasible, what is not feasible. Agitations must bring about development. They must bring about concern for the interest of the people. And this is why, to summarize everything I've been talking about, I believe very strongly that one man who has shown himself to be that person who can negotiate with all aggrieved parties in this country is Peter Obi. This is why I believe very strongly. You know, some people have said, oh, Peter Obi. let's not forget that is a Peter Obi who retired the Umbas from politics of Anambra State. Of all the Umbas was about, this was a Peter Obi, a no-nonsense governor who placed everybody where they belong. I believe this man will do it. President Muhammadu Buhari has done a lot to harm this country. They have plugged pipes where the money of this country flow into Niger Republic and to other, what's it called, countries that have no interest to Nigeria. Only interest to Buhari. But I tell you, a Peter Obi presidency will cut waste, will clog all of these loopholes. We make Nigerians feel the impact of their own money. Right now we are broke, and yet I can tell you that billions of dollars are still missing in this country that cannot be accounted for. That cannot be accounted for. And that is why they want to negotiate with Buhari, with Jonathan. Do everything humanly possible to make Jonathan become the president of Nigeria, so that some of those, flow of whatever, they will continue to maintain those things. But I tell you, a Peter Obi presidency, okay, will bring about justice. We bring about justice for this country. So, like Nigerians, while all of this is going on, I want to appeal to us. The true leader, the truest that we have seen on the field is Peter Obi. The delegate election is going to be end of this month. I just want to use this broadcast to talk about why we must reject completely Goodluck Jonathan. We must, as a matter of urgent national security, reject any idea or agenda or attempted idea or an agenda to want to bring Jonathan into this race. Should be rejected by everybody, particularly those of us from the south. Rejected fully. And I want to advise President Bello Jonathan. If he does not merit it, he's enjoying a status that is unmerited. Not by the way his own government was before Buhari came on board. Because if Goodluck Jonathan's government was that Nigerians were in love with, there would have been no way Buhari would have become president of Nigeria. So it was a failure of Jonathan's administration that led to the emergence of the Buhari administration. And so the failure of Buhari's administration cannot be compensated with bringing in Goodluck Jonathan at all. At all. And that's what they are trying to do now. Having failed, they want to compensate this failure now by bringing in, because there is a way Buhari's mind is rigged. He's really impressed with the fact that Jonathan had that power to him. So he wants to pay back the same gesture, then use him now because they've developed relationship, a very strong one over time, to now protect his own interest. And when he's gone, that outflow of Nigerians' currency to different parts of this world for different nonsense that is not of interest in Nigeria, they will continue. And after 4 years, they probably may have discussed with him who's going to take over from him. And they will do everything to make sure they make him the president. And that's why this young man said that if they must support a certain president, it must be, somebody, that will protect their interests.
If they don't like the fact that it may be a northerner who will emerge as president, too bad. If we want to support a southerner, we will support a southerner because that will be in our own interest rather than in somebody's interest.
That will be in our own interest. So let us see where this country is going. I'm a southerner. I'm from Edo State. I love this country, and I love that we are able to build a sense of patriotism, a sense of oneness as time goes on. But to get there, we need a leader who will put things right and set the compass right. A nation reflects her leaders. Today, every Nigerian is looking like Mumu because of the kind of president we have. Everybody is looking stupid because of the kind of president we have. Everybody is looking clueless because of the kind of president we have. The reflection of Nigeria today is, you see it fully in the kind of president we have. You go elsewhere, every nation reflects their leaders, their president, their king, their whatever. That is the reflection. We must change that reflection. We cannot continue to wallow under such retrogressive, backward reflections. Let's wake up, my people. It's time to do so. Ebele Jonathan, no. Stay in your house, remain a statesman. We're happy with you for that. You are lucky to be enjoying this status. Stay cool with that. And help to unite the South. Make them understand that we need to build our own hegemony. We need to baptize young people into this agenda to understand that as Southerners, while we love this country and we want the interests of this country to be protected, we need to build a terrain, build leaders of tomorrow to understand where we want to take this country to. If we don't do that, the jinx of holding on to power by the Northerners will not be broken, and we need that broken. And if we cannot break it by 2023, everybody be ready, be ready. If we don't get it right by 2023, well, fellow Nigerians, my name is Comrade Lantore here, and it's the much I'm able to take for this exercise. Thank you if you've been part of this broadcast. Thank you for those guys who are following the Comrade Show. Subscribe to the Comrade Show. Thank you very much. Please, importantly, share this broadcast. This message must get to Goodluck Jonathan. We must register it. You should stay away and do the right thing. On that note, see you again. May God bless you all. May God bless the Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.
Are you a business owner? Do you make your own products? This is your best opportunity ever. Register your brand now with the first and largest marketplace promoting Nigerian-made products. Get access to over 17 million shoppers and customers currently in need of your products. Download on Google Play Store now to register or visit ekioja.com. Focus on creating your passion. Leave the marketing to us.
Comrade Show, wait, Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Comrade Show.